Hey guys, let's get into a couple plays today. Actually, I have one race I like at Oaklawn today, and we'll go through the late pick 5 at Aqueduct. Yes, it should be fun. Congrats if you got the pick 6 yesterday. It was gettable, a lot of shorter fields, so Aqueduct's been a little tougher. I tweeted about it the other day that it's just been I don't know, not super formful lately. And if you play in the style that I play, where I'm not covering a lot of combinations, I like to pretty much bet to win or exactas. It's been a little bit frustrating, so I've been playing a little bit more Oaklawn and other tracks, and that's kind of nice, not being a public handicapper anymore. I'm not forced to deal with picking races that I don't even really care to look at for very long. But I do like the pick 5 today at Aqueduct. We'll start here a mile and a 16th in race number 6, and looking at 3 horses here, the 4, the 7, and the 6. I think this race, there's a couple pretty formful races, I think, at least on paper. The 4, Nick Stratos. Jonathan Thomas, always a trainer I pay extra close attention to. He very often scratches his horses. He enters and just doesn't run them. He's a high percentage trainer because he really seems to only run them when they have a great chance to win. I don't know if it's like a physical thing or if he looks at the competition and says, no, can't win this, not running. Don't know, but whatever it is, when he's in with serious intent. So if Nick Stratos does run today, I do believe this is the horse to beat in race number 6. I'll add in the 6-horse Silver Mill as kind of an under position. I thought the debut was effective enough for Michelle Nevin. She's having such a great year. It's nice to see. She was in that same start, he was in the same start with Nick Stratos, finishing behind him, and Excursionist. So those are the 3 I've taken out of that race. Excursionist coming back to run. Those other 2 not entered, but boy, Mark Hannig wheeled him back in 7 days. Not unheard of, just doesn't really happen all that often, especially with the 2-year-olds, you know. So yeah, that was a little aggressive, but I guess they saw a stake race. Owners get excited, want to run in the stake race. I don't know if that helps or hurts. They've given him adequate spacing since then. He looks like he's a legitimate sort, so we'll include Excursionist. But I really like the 4-horse Nick Stratos to go on and hopefully be something special if he runs. Race number 7, 6.5 furlongs, another 2-year-old race. This is for the New Yorks, a couple of New York breds in a row here. This one sprinting on the dirt, last one was routing on the turf. And this field, I'm a little less clear about it, but I am pretty sure I don't want too many of the starters. I've actually taken none of them. If I was going to take one, it would probably be Schosberg's horse, the 3, Boss Making Boss Moves. That horse made kind of a boss move, like 2 starts now, but he's also been a runner-up 2 starts, and I don't necessarily like that. You get these fresh faces and they're tempting. Big price paid for Relate. Not a lot of immediate pedigree on this one, but obviously he must have been moving well to be purchased for that price out of a 2-year-old in training sale. So he ends up being high up on my ticket, hoping that he gets a clear start from the inside. The Lescano-Asmussen combination, it doesn't happen all that often, but it is extremely productive when it does. So with that in mind, I will include that first-time starter. And then I'm going outside. I prefer outside, more outside post, middle outside for these firsters. They just tend to be able to get in less trouble than having the rail. The 6-horse Pineapple Man, Mike Maker going to Javier Castellano to ride this one. A couple of pretty sharp works, that's okay. The 7 Impressionist. The way Rob Atras's horses are running, he's an include. The 2-year-old first-time starter is not exactly a specialist of his. But we can just quickly pop over there and see. 2-year-old first-time starters only. He is 3 for 16. So, yeah, you know, he can win. It's not an O, but it's not a huge stat. And the 8 Eminency, another one I was intrigued by. I like a couple of these works that Rudy Rod's put into this horse. So, don't know who's riding. It was supposed to obviously not Joel Rosario, and we do send our best wishes. Joel, one of the super nicest guys. Joel and John Velasquez, of 2 guys that I've interviewed over the years, like creams of the crop. Javier Castellano, obviously a gentleman as well. Yeah, anyways, I digress. So I'm taking those first-time starters, the 1, 6, 7, and 8 out of race 7. Race number 8, outer turf, 6 furlongs. Another New York race, this an Anon 1. I've whittled it down to just 2 competitors here. The sprinting 6 furlongs. I like Panster. He should be able to, 2-horse Panster, he should be able to get himself into some kind of an early position. Again, we'll see who's riding, but some of these races here, he seemed to get himself into more trouble by being rated than if he were just like up and in it. He shouldn't have to rate today. He's routed his last 2 starts. Now you get the freshening and a turn back to a sprint distance. It's like, just sit up on him and let him roll. Let him find his stride. Don't wrestle him back. I think he's going to be okay. I actually like that turn back in distance for him. The only thing not okay is probably a really short price. But he really figures in here. The 7 City Mischief I looked at for a while. The turf races are good. This race at Aqueduct, if he can do this again, he was a favored and had trouble in that race, a favorite, had trouble in that race. So I think maybe you take a look at him. But I've gone to the 8 horse. Again, Jonathan Thomas, here we go. This figure here is huge. Any of these 2 races, excuse me, win this race today, if he can come back to that. We haven't seen him too often because Jonathan Thomas doesn't run his horses very often. Race number 9, 1 mile and a 16th, they enter a lot. 30 non-2 at the route distance. The 2 horse Rally Squirrel probably takes a lot of money, lightly raced. He can step out of this. He's not finding any real tough horses. This can be a tough adjustment to go from the maiden 40, but at least he's going down in price. This may not be far enough down, but this race certainly showed some ability. The thing is, not likely to get this kind of trip. I mean, there's going to be other speeds in here. Just in time for wine is pretty quick. So he's just not going to get that cozy trip. So got to back him up. I've taken the 7 horse Brazilian Air as one with more experience. The Linda Rice dropped back from being protected in starter allowances. Now second off of the longish layoff, missed the entire turf summer season. But this horse does have the win over Aqueduct. The start was not good, but it was against tougher. So he doesn't face that kind of competition in this field. And the 9 horse, another one that I wanted to have tackle, Carmouche. One of the speeds, this race figures to be somewhat quick on the front. The thing about tackle that I like is he can rate, he can sit just off. So that plays into his favor in this race, which could be a little wild on the track. Race number 10, 7 furlongs, winds it up. Another New York restricted race, this one. Stallion Series now. And this race is on the dirt. So, there's a couple turf horses in here, which are actually kind of interesting. The first one I'll include is the 4 My Boy Tate, one of 2 Nevin horses. I think you need to use them both. My Boy Tate has figures that would definitely win here. He's kind of danced a lot of dances. He's working off of 2 sharp races out of town in a row. He loves Aqueduct. Lots going on for My Boy Tate to be a major contender. The 6 horse Rinaldi. This horse has never run on dirt. He's only ever run on turf. And it's funny because Posse is not an overly influential turf sire at all. He's below average, better dirt sire. The dam, a lot of the siblings ran on turf. It's kind of uncanny. I mean, she was turfy herself. I remember her. She ran at Woodbine. Sidetar campaigned her. She was average. I mean, she was okay. She never really could break through to be much more than, this. Eventually won her second start under Todd Cable. Rest in peace. In a claimer there. So, but there's been a lot of them have gone to the turf, the siblings. It's just kind of weird, but they were more bred for turf. So Rinaldi, no, not so much, but the Hollinger was a turf horse. Roger Atfield likes to run his horses on grass. That's cool. Animal Kingdom. This was a Tail the Cat. So a lot of them have run on the turf and they've been okay, but he may just be better on the dirt. We'll find out today. We'll know more today. And the Bond stable's been definitely heating up a little bit. From there, I have the other Nevin horse, the 9 Our Last Buck. I've got him in more of a supporting position. I'm not sure, was it just the slop in the last start? He ran okay on the slop here. He ran no good here with a wide trip. So things were kind of against him there. We'll see Kendrick Carmouche won with him back here. So I think that's important to note that. And then the outside horse, the 12 Captain Bombastic. It'd be interesting to see how he works out a trip here, but he's been, he just ran against American Revolution. So yeah, that was okay. Wild Banker was in there too. I didn't know what to do with Wild Banker. I don't know. I mean, obviously that last race really moves him up, but was it the slop? Was it? I don't know. I don't know. Chad's had this horse before and he was certainly competitive and he's good at Aqueduct. So maybe we'll include him too. All right, there. He's on the ticket now. I talked myself into it. So that race I find to be the most wide open. Aqueduct's last. So just quickly to review, because I'm too lazy to write these things down. Race number 6, the 4 and 7 are the ones I'm looking at mostly with the 6. Race 7, the 1 and 6 with support from the 7 and the 8. Race number 8, we'll go with just the 2 and the 8. The 2 horse, I think, should be tough. Race 9 will go 7, 9 with the 2. And then race number 10, I just made my ticket that much more expensive because can't leave that horse out. 4, 6, the 12, the 7, and the 9. Excuse me, I don't talk enough. Or maybe I talk too much. Oaklawn's race, we'll just look at this one. This is race number 8. It features, it's a 6 furlong sprint. That's why I think like Callan's going to be a huge favorite, obviously, of the company he's been keeping. Yeah, he can win this, absolutely. This was like a winning race right here. He just missed by a head, so I like him. There's a horse in here who's a big price, and I'm going to play him in exactas. I wish this race was longer. It's a Diodoro with number 8 Manhattan Up. This horse has run consistently in the 90s. He's had time off. Diodoro does extremely well with these sorts, these old class horses who maybe have lost a little bit of a step. Didn't run well here in the slot, but the trip just never really worked out for him that day, and the competition was tough. He goes from being, in some pretty lofty competition out west to now being a 50 claimer. So we'll throw exactas with him. He's 10-1 morning line, so whether he goes off at that or not, I don't know, but 6 furlongs, I think, is the only sticking point I have with him there. Starting to wrap these videos up. I will probably go to the end of the year, and that will be it for me. So have an excellent day. Hope you make some money. Yes, the haircut. I know, you saw. I'm going to be sending some t-shirts out to some people, so I'll contact you, some DRF swag. If you want one, I have a few to give away, or a cap, let me know. And I'll send one your way for Christmas. Early Merry Christmas. Have an excellent day, and I think we'll see you next week. I think so.